Greetings and welcome to This Month in Warhammer Underworlds for February 2021. This is your one-stop shop for everything Warhammer Underworlds related, recapping everything that has happened in the past month, and once again there's been a lot of news for our favourite competitive arena miniatures combat game. As always, each news item has its own timestamp, which can be found in the episode description below. Also remember to like and subscribe, as your support helps to keep the channel going. February technically saw the official release of Khagra's Ravagers. This is our third Diachasm warband, and the warband overall looks pretty solid, at least as a new player. I won't go into too much depth here as my review covers that information if needed, which you can check out in the episode description below. Desecration wasn't nearly as game-shattering as the Warhammer community site hinted at. In fact, it feels incredibly weak and almost acts as a handicap for the warband. Still, I stand by that they are a great warband for learning the game with and do have lots of character. Warhammer community also posted a deep dive into the desecration mechanic with the January Cataphrane Chronicle, written by head games designer Dave Sanders. It's a pretty good thorough look behind how desecration was developed and evolved. I was honestly surprised to see them so open about it, which is great. These kind of insights help us understand warbands and choices better. We can clearly see why they toned down the desecration so much, as it was better for the overall game health without being too damaging to other players. If you want to see how Khagra's Ravagers performs in-game, I've uploaded 3 battle reports from a best-of-3 set I recorded live via webcam on my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/CanYouRollerCrit, and you can find those battle reports just on the YouTube channel under battle reports under the playlist for battle reports. Hinted at on the Warhammer community site and then fully revealed during the February live Twitch stream, Hedkrakka's Madmob will be the 5th Diachasm warband. It is also the 4th 4-fighter warband of the 4th season of Warhammer Underworlds. 4. Their trailer showed off all the fighter cards, revealing that this warband is tied to the primacy mechanic, for better or for worse. I'm not really a fan of seasonal universal mechanics being tied to a warband, because basically that mechanic now has to exist for forever, because warbands will never disappear. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. For the fighters, Hedkrakka gets +1 damage to his spell attack action for adjacent enemy fighters. Gaze into the fist of Gork. Tooth Dagger can push up to 2 friendly hunter fighters at the start of the game, except for Hedkrakka as he is not a hunter. Wallop the Skull, on top of his amazing name, gets +1 damage to his chomper against 4 wound plus fighters, and Dako can fire his Stinger Bow for a second time after an activation if he has no move or charge tokens. They're all pretty nice, really, although we're still missing their full fighter cards to see what stats they have. Also, I pretty much like the models apart from the fact they all oddly have no toenails but do have finger claws. And I'm just not a fan of Hedkrakka's mask. It looks just so flat and basic. He is gripping onto a big snake in one hand, though. Oh my. Hedkrakka's Madmob are due out in May 2021, so we're still quite a while away from more greenskins. Some may be disappointed, but I'm always happy for more green representation in the Underworlds. That same Twitch livestream also announced a new starter set for Warhammer Underworlds. Does it replace the Diachasm starter set? No, it will just exist alongside the main season starter sets. This box comes only with faction cards for the 2 warbands included, which are the Storm of Celestus and Drepper's Wraith Creepers, who are Stormcast and Nighthawk warbands respectively. These warbands are also not new models, as they originally started as easy-to-build models for Age of Sigmar 2nd edition. From the image shown, we can see that the boards are revamped from Shadespire and Nightfall, with the Cursed Oubliette and the Shaishian Star Dial, while all the cards feature brand new formatting. While the new style of objectives and power cards look nice, because I'm always a fan of seeing more card art, I'm not a fan of the fighter cards changing so that their characteristics of a fighter are now above their attack actions, because it just looks confusing, and it was fine before. It was more prominent seeing like a fighter's wound characteristic in the bottom left, and it's just a weird change. Fighter cards are basically fine. As for when this will drop, maybe May, I guess. In regards to price, based on the costs of Champions of Dreadfane, I expect this to cost about £40 to £45, sadly. I'll be happy if I'm wrong, but we can only wait and see. As for whether this product is even needed, I'm not sure really. Once again, only time will tell. It does feel quite questionable to have two starter sets in rotation where one basically shows up for season and one is a dedicated starter set, but as you said, we'll wait and see. It basically will come down to price. February had the 2021 roadmap updated again, this time with a spooky change. What does this new warband in May herald? I cannot say. It does look like a massive bone guy who is cosplaying as some kind of reaper of souls. A complete mystery. This big boy will be debuting soon after Hedkrakka's Madmob. Will they be another four-fighter warband? Warhammer Underworlds Online saw the launch for Stormsire's Cursebreakers. It was an interesting release, shall we say. The warband dropped with a plethora of severe bugs. These were quickly patched out again for the most part, but some still persist, unfortunately. I mentioned this because it did have a severe effect on the release, with Rastas having the wrong attack actions and spells not still properly triggering, partly due to the fact that the whole warband are wizards. As for how Stormsire's Cursebreakers perform in-game, well, they're fine. Their main weakness is missing all the universal cards they need to function, which is currently a problem with the majority of all the other warbands in Warhammer Underworlds Online. Unfortunately, their only successful competitive build focuses around sitting at the back of the board casting spells. It's a shame, but it really is the only way that warband can stand to play competitively and reliably survive against matchups like Magor's Fiends and other aggressive aggro warbands. They just don't have the tools to survive with any other matchup and build. Also, emotes were added too. They're something, at least. No love heart emoji, sadly, but you can still spam the crit ghost one every time you roll a crit. It is the law. You must do it. Always. Every time. Every crit. For Podcast Corner for February 2021, Path to Glory has their episode of the month, focus on their Warhammer Underworlds Alliance Format League, their thoughts on how Primacy works and impacts the game overall, in addition to their usual podcast coverage. Battle for Salvation have their February episode dedicated to all things pure and elven. They go over Mayari's Purifiers thoroughly with their special guest Stefan. Finally, for February, there is me with Critcast Episode 8, Learning Different Warbands. I'm joined by Warhammer Underworlds veteran Aman as we go over how you can best go about learning to play successfully with new warbands and different warbands, covering the main reasons as why you should, how to overcome difficulties related to it, and how doing this can be beneficial to you overall as a competitive player. Tournaments for February saw the Straight Outta Shadespire webcam tournament continue with its monthly schedule of 4 best-of-1 rounds. The player named Orktim won with his use of, Morgoth's Crushers in a group of 19 players. The next tournament is due on the first week of March, which is next week. As it is the special 13th tournament, Val has all 23 players locked in already, as each player has to use a different warband and no duplicates can be taken. If you want to watch the tournament live on Saturday the 6th of March, which is next week, I'll be live streaming the tournament on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/CanYouRollACrit. The second Vassal Skirmish took place in February with 30 players. This best-of-1 event saw Jan, with his Hrothgorn Man-Trappers, prove triumphant after 7 rounds. Jan was tied for first place with Stefan, who was using Morgoth's Crushers, but won via tiebreakers due to having better glory differential. For those interested, Jan was running a Feed the Beastgrave deck, which is an interesting pick currently due to the mainly aggro meta and subsidence of hold objective play. For the summary of my own content, February 2021 was actually pretty busy for me, at least towards the end of the month. Despite no Starblood Stalkers pre-orders for February, I covered the January 2021 news recap, posted about episode 8 of Critcast, wrote my event review for the Underworld UK Masters 2020 covering who won, along with a look at deck lists, published 3 video battle reports for Khagra's Ravagers, and posted my new article series on the Warhammer Underworlds tier list, where I talk about all the warbands ranked from S tier to E tier for competitive play for new players, which I plan to update every quarter. So yeah, there's a lot to check out, and as always, links will be in the episode description below. February 2021 was an odd month. Khagra's Ravagers technically dropped, and we got a look at more warbands due out in May, as well as even another starter set for Warhammer Underworlds. Online tournaments were still as active as ever, continuing to help keep the game alive. No Starblood Stalkers pre-orders as we were all hoping for, so now we have to wait and see when they will drop in March, hopefully. Before I go, please feel free to check out my affiliate link to Element Games in the episode description below. Any purchases you make After clicking through the link, help support myself and the channel to help keep you bringing high quality content at no additional cost to yourself, while you also get a 15 to 25% discount on all things Warhammer Underworlds related, as well as hobby related, like new paints and stuff. And also, please remember to like and subscribe. Your support helps keep the channel going, and yeah, please comment on what else you'd like to see from me. So until next time, chaos continues to desecrate the Diachasm, while we wait for the purifying power of the Starborn Seraphon. Future visions herald warnings of soul-blight vampires and savage orcs. Even more deathly visions seep evermore. Still, we have one thing to give us hope and keep us safe: the ability to roll a crit.